Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today I wanted to talk about Nintendo's presentation at E3 2014. So as you guys know, I usually don't tend to cover a lot of Nintendo titles on the channel, namely because I don't currently own any of the Nintendo platforms, but I have to say that this year's E3 showing definitely got me wanting to play some of those titles that are going to be coming up, as well as a couple of titles that already exist on the Wii U. I already wanted to play some of those games, but the E3 presentation, I thought that they've shown some really interesting stuff. I actually don't have all the stuff that they've shown written down, but I'm just going to go through some of the highlights and tell you guys why I became so interested in those titles. I mean, starting things off with Super Smash Brothers, I actually thought that game looked pretty damn good. I played it. I played the previous version on the Wii. I mean, sure, it wasn't amazing because usually I ended up playing by myself, which I guess is not as much fun as when you're playing with a bunch of more people. But I don't know. It's just there's something about the full HD graphics, the fact that they're actually including the Miis in there, which is really cool because you can essentially create your own character, decide a specific subset of powers that you happen to enjoy, and have your own character fight against the Nintendo characters like Samus and Super Mario and God knows who else. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a nice touch. And it's definitely shaping up to, it's looking like it's going to be a great title for Nintendo. Again, I'm not that experienced in Nintendo games, bear in mind, so some of you guys might be like, Super Smash Brothers, man. Other people might be like, yeah, Super Smash Brothers, best thing ever. So just letting you guys know my opinions on that. Another title that they've shown was obviously The Legend of Zelda, which is looking gorgeous. I really like that art style, and I'm actually, of the Nintendo, of the games that I've played on my Wii, because I used to own a Wii, one of my favorite games that I've ever played was most likely No More Heroes. But another game that I've played and actually played through to completion was Zelda, the Twilight Princess, and I thought that game was brilliant. I mean, sure, the graphics weren't amazing because, I mean, the Wii was never really that graphically powerful, but I still played it through to completion, and I enjoyed every bit of it. So I really liked Zelda, and looking at this Zelda, like the graphics that they've shown and the fact that it's an open world title, and they were saying like, oh, you see those mountains over there, you can go everywhere that you can see. And I don't know, I really liked it. I guess that's all I can really say. I really liked what I've seen. I can't say too much about it because I still don't know that much about this particular Zelda, but all I can say is that I liked what I saw at the presentation, and it definitely got me pumped up for that title. Another title that they've shown that I thought was really cool was Hyrule Warriors, and I know that there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, it's just Dynasty Warriors with a different skin. And yeah, everybody knows that. Why is that a bad thing is the point that I don't get. Because it's like, if you like Dynasty Warriors, you will most likely like Hyrule Warriors, assuming that you like the Zelda franchise. And there's a lot of people, it's just a reskin of Dynasty Warriors. Yes. Why is this a bad thing? I don't understand. It's like, if you don't like it, okay, we get it. But it's not necessarily something bad. And it's not like there's a ton of Dynasty Warrior games on the Nintendo consoles, are there? I'm not sure. I honestly do not know. I'm genuinely asking, are there tons of Dynasty Warriors in there, like on the PlayStation, for instance? I don't know. But anyways, it was definitely a game that I enjoyed seeing. Another game is a game that I've been somewhat curious about for quite some time. It was a game that I thought about purchasing back when I had my Wii, but it never came out in Portugal. And then eventually I gave my Wii away to a cousin of mine, and I ended up never having a chance to play it. But that game was Xenoblade, and they're launching a new Xenoblade for the Wii U, apparently, Xenoblade Chronicles. And I was like, that sounds like something that I could definitely get into. It's got some pretty nice visuals. It just looks like the type of game that I would get into, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the game, in all honesty, but what I've seen from the footage definitely looked like something I would probably enjoy. Then another game that came up, and this one was just like a no-brainer for me because I've been excited for this game for some time, and obviously it's going to be a Wii U exclusive as well, and that is Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is just looking amazing. And the fact that they actually went the extra mile and they're going to bundle in Bayonetta 1 with Bayonetta 2, I just thought that is a genius move, because obviously a lot of the people that own a Wii U, if they exclusively own a Wii U, there's a big chance that they've never played Bayonetta, which, to be completely honest, is actually my case as well. I mean, I don't own a Wii U, but I never played the original Bayonetta, because at the time the Bayonetta came out, I don't think I actually owned a console that could play Bayonetta, so I ended up never really playing it. And it's interesting because I was thinking while I was seeing the presentation, like, so if I was to get a Wii U and get Bayonetta, I would still get Bayonetta 1 as well, which is an interesting proposition, so that you could play the first one and then play the second one. It's definitely, it's enticing. It's just an additional point. Like I said, I've seen this a couple of games that were enticing me to actually get it. I'm also curious about Mario Kart, because everybody's talking up Mario Kart and saying, oh, Mario Kart, best game ever. I mean, even Sidestrafe bought a friggin' Wii U to play Mario Kart. And I was like, what? What am I missing here? I mean, I never played the original Mario Karts in any of the Nintendo consoles, including the Wii. I never played Mario Kart on the Wii. So I don't have that nostalgia factor or anything to it, but I am still curious. So that's another title. Then they also showed off that like weird paint shooter. I mean, that one didn't really interest me as much, but it definitely looked like an original proposition for people who already have a Wii U, kind of like a value add almost. It looked interesting. It's a game where you essentially have to paint the map with your color of ink, and the enemy team has a different color of ink, and you can shoot the enemy team with ink and you can kill them, and then they'll respawn. And then if you're walking on your ink, you move faster. I don't know. It had some interesting elements to it, although it is the kind of game I'm not exactly sure how much time I would actually spend playing it, but it was definitely interesting as well. And then all of this stuff got me thinking that on top of it, if I was to like get a Wii U, I could still play Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate, and that is another value add on top of it. And there's also the possibility that eventually Capcom will wake up, like the whichever section of the Capcom studio that is handling Monster Hunter. It got me like hoping that maybe they'll wake up sometime and think, you know what? We should really do this Monster Hunter thing on more than just the 3DS, because right now the only plans they have for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is for the 3DS. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. You've released Tri Ultimate on the Wii U, and there's like reasons, there's like technological reasons why that was a thing, because the reason why they released it on the Wii U, actually, because I did some research on this, is that apparently the 3DS version couldn't get online by itself, so it would have to connect to the Wii U version, and then it would go online. I don't know, it was something weird like that, and that turns out was like the only reason they ever made it for the Wii U. So it just blows my mind. I don't know what's up with that studio, but yeah, I'm kind of derailing this into becoming just about Monster Hunter when it's actually not. They've shown quite a few titles that looked interesting. I mean, there were more titles that were interesting that I didn't really point down, like they had the whole Yoshi's Yarn, but that was not really my type of game. They had another one which was Captain Toad's Treasure Hunt, Treasure Scavenge. I don't remember the name of that one, but that one looked pretty cool as well. How like you had Captain Toad essentially, and you'd be like solving these puzzles and that 3D type, that style from like Super Mario 3D World or whatever the hell it's called, because there's so many Super Marios that I can't even tell them apart. But that one also looked pretty interesting. So definitely a really, really strong presentation from Nintendo, because in fact, the reason why I'm doing this video is because the Nintendo presentation did something that I wasn't expecting, which was it got me interested. And I would have never expected to like actually watch a Nintendo presentation and become interested. I watched it because out of interest, out of completion, like, okay, I watched all these other ones, I'll watch Nintendo's one as well, because I went with it with like no expectations whatsoever. And once I started looking at the stuff that they were doing, I thought it was really interesting. And another thing was, I've seen several people actually complain about this, which was the whole amiibo thing, which is like they're selling these little figures that you will have certain functionalities in certain games. Like the first game that's going to support it is Super Smash Brothers, but they're probably going to spread out through multiple Nintendo titles. They've also said they're probably going to add this onto the Mario Kart game as well. And I've seen a lot of hate for these types of things, and I'm sitting here thinking like, sure, I can understand that like people who are of a certain age are probably not going to be that interested in those figures. Like myself, I'm not that interested in the amiibo figures at all, particularly because I don't have that much of a nostalgia factor for Nintendo, because the only Nintendo console I've ever owned was the Wii back in 2007. Before that, I've never had a Nintendo console, so I don't have that emotional attachment to the Nintendo characters. But I have to say, I really like the idea. Like, if I was younger, I would like to have little miniatures and like get save data from them, because like when I saw like stuff like Skylanders, I thought that was pretty cool. The fact that the figure actually saved data and you could then move it on to other titles and get stuff on those other titles and then come back and have the stuff that you've gotten from the other titles and take it to your friend's house and play at your friend's game and help them, and then your character actually returns with something from that. I thought that was genius, and I think that Nintendo doing that is genius as well. I mean, like I said, it is not for people who have gone past a certain age or people who do not have that Nintendo nostalgia, so to speak, but it is for younger audiences, which is a lot of what Nintendo's objective, I guess, Nintendo's target market is those younger audiences, like the family-friendly type stuff. So people from that younger audience, they're probably going to really enjoy the Amiibo products, and I think it's a good move on their part. Now, whether or not that is going to gimp the gaming experience for everybody else, we'll have to wait and see. Because if the enjoyment of the younger audience comes at the cost of the enjoyment of the older audience and the more loyal Nintendo fans who stuck with it for God knows how long, and because they're not interested in the figurines, they're getting somehow less of an experience, that can be something that will need to be addressed. But right now, I'm not sure if that is going to be the case or not. But anyways, yeah, I was really impressed with the Nintendo press event. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comment sections below. As per usual, thank you very much for watching. Leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one.